It always amuses me when people say, well, I don't think we need newspapers and I don't think we need traditional journalists because I get my news off the internet. I don't know where these people think the news on the internet comes from. It's not Google that's sending people to Baghdad or to the Super Bowl. It's traditional newspapers, but then all of their content gets put out there on the internet for free. Now I got the New York Times, right on my BlackBerry. I click on that button. I just, back there, read tomorrow's New York Times. I'm not going to buy it at the airport tomorrow. So this is a business model that, in my mind, doesn't make sense. Well, when web advertising finally collapsed in the fourth quarter of last year, it began to feel like this was the future of journalism, only in the sense that a very steep cliff is the future for a herd of lemmings. It's not a good future. If you believe that your paper is so much of a commodity that if you start charging for it, people will just go elsewhere, then you're not, as a businessman would tell you, creating anything of value. If you're just doing what everybody else is doing and people will go somewhere else if you try to charge for it, then you might as well become an investment banker or a dentist or something. Go into a different line of work because you're not creating something of great value. So if I were the New York Times, I would right now say, in order to get the newspaper online, you don't have to pay a lot of money. Pay less than what you would pay for a cup of Starbucks coffee, not for the paper, but for a week of the paper. So I look for somebody who's real, who I say, okay, if that person can engage me over coffee, she or he will be able to engage me on the set or on the page when they write. So try to be smart and engage in the world. I mean, one of the things I tell journalism students is don't just learn the craft of journalism. It's as important to learn a lot about some real subjects so you know what you're talking about and you can engage. As I said, economics, business, history, Islamic studies, languages, whatever it may be. If somebody, and I know you're in journalism school, I don't want to hurt your thing there, but if somebody says, all I've got is a journalism degree, but I have no passion in any particular subject, I'm less likely to hire them. If somebody says, I've got a journalism degree, but I just decided that I need to know Arabic, and so I traveled to Egypt, and it was real cheap, but I went there for the summer, and I learned Arabic, and I figured that out, or I went to China, or I went to India. That type of passion for understanding things is, to me, the mark of what sets a well-trained journalist apart from a great journalist.